Let's see. And opponent can put all their non-land permanents back in their hand. Howdy guys, Radio Magic here. I hope you're all having a fantastic morning, day, afternoon or evening, wherever you are and whatever you are up to. Today, we are not back with our series of testing how viable Control is in Historic Best of 3. We're testing how viable is Control in Brawl Historic, because it's an event at the moment going on Arena, and I hope tons of you have given it a go because it's super fun to do. But we're going to be stopping our opponent from doing whatever the fun thing is they intend to do, and doing what we want to do, which is counter every single spell your opponent throws at us and stop them. We're going to see how many opponents we can make miserable and test how viable Baral, Chief of Compliance, is in Brawl with Mono Blue Baral. So for those of you that know what Baral, Chief of Compliance, does, and you look at this list in front of you right now, and you go, this looks familiar, this looks like an insane amount of counter spells, I know what this does, go down to the description below, you can find the deck list, and you can also find the timestamps for this. But those of you that would like me to explain how we're going to make our opponent miserable, and maybe explain some win cons and some neat little bits in the list, stay tuned. I'll go over a very brief deck tech, since it's a load of one-offs, so I'll go through it as quickly as possible. So, Baral, Chief of Compliance, is a 2-mana, 1 blue and 1/1/3 human wizard that reads, instant and sorcery spells you cast cost 1 generic mana less to cast. And then whenever a spell or an ability we control counters a spell, which is everything we're doing in the list, we get to draw a card, and if we do, discard a card. So essentially, Baral is going to make all of our counter spells cheaper. Either they're going to cost 1 blue or 2 blue a lot of the time. Some of them cost 3 mana at the same time. And then it's going to allow us to cycle through our list, find our consistent spells, like discard extra lands we have, find lands if we're missing them, and pretty much just, allow us to go through, find our win conditions, and basically make all of our spells super cheap. So it allows us to counter multiple spells, since the normal way an opponent will get around a counter spell is by putting out 2 threats on the same turn and baiting your counter spells. But the problem is, we have so many counter spells and we can cast multiple of them every single turn. So Baral, Chief of Compliance, works really well in the list. He's also just not essential as well. If your opponent kills Baral multiple times and it's costing 6, 8, maybe even 10 mana to cast Baral, no problem. We don't need him. Like, we have just counter spells. He's mainly there for the early game to make sure that our opponent can't go under our Baral. And yeah, like I said, we are doing that with counter spells. So we have a total of 27 instants and sorceries in the list, since Baral makes them cheaper. 20 of which are counter spells. So yeah, I'll go over them. We're running Mox Amber as a way on turn 2 to basically play Baral and then play Mox Amber, or play Mox Amber, then play Baral, so we can hold up one of our 2-mana counter spells and counter on the same turn, since Baral makes it 1 cheaper. Mox Amber is so good in the list just because it allows us to hold up our Negate, Essence Scatter, keep safe on turn 2 when we, or even like a bounce effect or something to put something back in our opponent's hand if we want to. Just a bit of mana acceleration, and because Baral is a legendary creature, obviously, always going to tap for that mana. We're then running Spectral Sailor as a flash threat that can sort of pair alongside our counter spells and can draw us cards when our opponent doesn't play into our counter spells. Syncopate as just a really good counter spell. Then Cutthroat, we can play this out. It's pretty self-explanatory. We're going to be countering our opponent's spells, which mainly are going to happen in our opponent's turn. So why not play a Cutthroat to power that up? Censor as a pretty good counter spell that can be cycled when it falls off later in the game. Disdainful Stroke, another really good counter spell. Essence Scatter, another really good counter spell. Into the Royal, this costs 1 blue to return a non-land permanent. We can either save our Baral on turn 2 if our opponent tries to remove one with a Mox Amber on turn 2. Save it on turn 3 if we wanted to, or the reason the bounce effects are so good in this list is sometimes your opponent can get a threat under your counter spells. So with a 1 mana Into the Royal on turn 3, for example, we go turn 2 Baral, our opponent lays a 2 or 3 drop on turn 2 or 3, say threat, and we haven't got a counter spell up, well, no problems, we can 1 mana Into the Royal that back to your hand, unkicked, no issue, we've got tons of card draw in the list, and then counter it on the way back down. Pretty good. And then Morai's Disruption as a counterspell / land, just a little bit of utility. Keep Safe as Baral is essential, well, not essential, but pretty good to keep on the board. And this is a 2-for-1 on our counterspell. It allows us to stop what our opponent's doing and replace itself, and cycle with Baral at the same time, and it's going to keep him safe. Negate as just, really good counterspell. Search as Cancer because we're running an insane amount of instants and sorceries. Tail's End, as everyone's running a legendary for their commander. So yeah, Tail's End will always have at least one target, and everyone's trying to do big flashy stuff. Arcane Signet, because it's Brawl. Countervailing Winds, as something that can cycle early if we haven't got many cards in our graveyard, or is a pretty good counterspell late game. Midnight Clock for ramp, but can also refill. And let's say we play Midnight Clock like midway through the game, we've countered a load of things. Well, don't worry, we can shuffle all of our counterspells back into our list and draw a whole new set. So pretty good for that reason. No Escape, as a creature or planeswalker counterspell. A lot of people are playing either creatures or planeswalkers. So yeah, we will be countering them and exiling them instead, and while scrying. They were playing Vision as a utility land, something with running loads of instants and sorceries, so this can dig us deeper. Brazen Borrower for the 1 mana Petty Theft, for the similar reason for Into the Royal, and also another threat that can help close the game, since we are running mono counterspells essentially, but we only have a few threats in the game, and Brazen Borrower is one of them, outside of our 25 turn clock with Baral, Chief of Compliance. Then we're running a Cancel as just a removal spell, probably one of the worst, but still unconditional removal spell. Didn't Say Please as another removal spell. Disallow as one of our better removal spells. Kraken as another threat. We can get this down. We're not playing this normally on turn 3. We're playing this on turn like 6, 7. Once we can get Baral down, stabilize the board, play Kraken, still hold up a counterspell. Neutralize as a counterspell that can cycle, or just, yep, pretty good counterspell. Sinister Sabotage, another counterspell that can surveil. Wizard's Retort. This is going to cost 2. Like, I know Baral makes it cost 2 anyway because it's 1 generic mana less, but he is also a wizard for what it's worth, so yeah, a little bit less as well. Vast's Intervention as a either counterspell that's not like kind of conditional because they have to pay mana, so better in the later game, but also can dig us deeper, so we can do this on turn 3 and just draw 2 cards if we wanted to. Chemist's Insight as a way to draw 4 cards by discarding 2 if we want to, like over the course of the game, pretty good. We have a lot of effects as well that can put stuff into our graveyard. We could always discard this with Baral's ability just to draw an extra card and get some value off of it later on. Hieroglyphic Illuminations, more card draw that can cycle early, leaving the dust. This is going to be 3 mana with Baral out. Returns a target non-land permanent to its owner's hand and draws a card. This can either save Baral again, or it can, if someone gets a threat under one of our counterspells, we can bounce it back to our opponent's hand. Murmuring Mystic, because we're playing 27 instants and sorceries, Murmuring Mystic's going to build quite the board. It is also a target for one of our counterspells in a minute that we will go on to, since we don't have many of them. Devious Cover Up as something to counter, exile that, and then we get to shuffle a load of more counterspells back into our deck, or more threats that our opponent may have answered. Rewind as something that actually nets us mana with Baral out, which is quite fun. Shark Typhoon as one of our little threats. It's pretty good threat. Like, most of the time we're actually going to be casting this. Like, the cycle is good, but casting this closes the game pretty quickly if your opponent cannot answer it. River's Rebuke. Oh my god, let's bounce our opponent's entire board back to their hand. Cyclonic Rift is so good in Commander, so let's River's Rebuke. And Cyclonic Rift is good because it returns each non-land permanent all opponents control. We only have 1 opponent in this, so 5 mana River's Rebuke is gonna be insane. Sublime Epiphany. Oh, this is insane. 5 mana Sublime Epiphany. And yeah, we can copy our Murmuring Mystic. We can copy our Brazen Borrower if we want to. Copy our Kraken, our Cutthroat. We've got a few targets in the list, but not that many. Obviously, it doesn't work that well copying Baral, but still some really good value of Sublime Epiphany. And Seagate Restoration. We don't normally like this, but this is 6 mana with Baral out. And if it draws us 2 or 3 cards, that's fine. And some utility in the mana basis. And then we've got Castle Vantress, some good lands. Mystic Sanctuary, since we're running 27 instants and sorceries, so we can put one back on top. And Command Tower, since I actually don't need to run the Command Tower, but we were originally running the 6 mana, is it 6 mana, 4 blue and 2 to steal a non-land permanent, and then you can pay 2 extra for each non-land permanent you'd like to steal. Or is it creature or planeswalker? I'll put a picture of it up now. I can't remember what it's called. But yeah, so this was in case we steal something with an activated ability, we could use the activated ability. But as it goes, Command Tower was actually worse in this list than it normally would be, because with Mystic Sanctuary and Castle Vantress, it just doesn't work with. But yeah, it's Command Tower, so it's not going to be that bad, is it? It's absolutely fine. But yeah, that is Baral, Chief of Compliance. Oh my god, 27 instants of sorceries, 20 counter spells. That's 1/3 of our list. So 1/3 of our list is counter spells, and then we have 22, 23, 24, 25 lands and 20 counter spells. That's just an insane amount. Like, this is what we want to be doing. This is why we play Control. But yeah, I'm going to shut up. There's going to be no wrap up. I'll say a little thank you at the end and that, as I normally do, but no wrap up because this is just a joke, a bit of Historic Brawl. Quick note though, I did make this very early in the morning, so because Brawl was ending, so I know there's a few mistakes coming up, that I made quite a few misplays, but it's Brawl, let's just have fun with it. We're trying to do some big bad things. So yeah, let's get on with it and jump into some games. So we are on the draw against the dreaded Niv-Mizzet Reborn list, and what do we think of this hand? I think this hand's okay. It's a little bit expensive with River's Rebuke and Kraken we don't really want in our opening hand. Probably going to take our 3 mulligan for this. This hand's a bit better. We're going to keep this. And yeah, it's because it's a 3 mulligan. I'm used to putting a card on the bottom, but we will not. Let's put Mystic Sanctuary down. I'm not sure if we play out Baral on turn 2. So we just hold it. We can hold up Syncopate for 1. Do Syncopate for 1 next turn if we wanted to, or we could just play Midnight Clock and then get down Baral. I think I'd be happier to play him on the draw. Yeah, I think we need to Syncopate that, since Chromatic Lantern will just fix all of our opponent's lands. I assume that Niv-Mizzet relies on that quite a lot, and Keep Safe's going to be really good here. If our opponent tries to answer our Baral, we get a 2-for-1 in the form of a counter spell. Not something you see every day, especially for 1 mana. So let's just get down Midnight Clock. Can still hold up Disallow. And I don't think it's worth the 1 damage. Let's float a mana, I guess. So can't do anything with that mana at the moment. And yeah, we'll attack him now that our opponent's tapped down. But yeah, Disallow up, Vass's Intervention. Probably going to look at casting the Shark Typhoon. Our opponent probably has a wealth of answers to it, but gonna play this out as a land so we can continue to hit our land drops. And I guess we play Kraken. We're not gonna attack into a flash for it. Our opponent's skipping through their phases pretty quick. But in a 5-color Niv-Mizzet deck with Field of Ruin, being a little bit greedy. So yeah, we're just gonna sit behind our wall of counter magic now, and yep, that's how it goes. I think even if our opponent didn't concede there, the chances of winning are relatively slim once we have this sort of setup. Okay, so we are on the play against Garruk Cursed Huntsman. What do we think of this hand? It's probably a good keep. Few counter spells, got some way to reset our opponent if they manage to resolve something that we can't counter, so we'll keep this. Want to hit our land drop, so we'll probably just play this out. Opponent's probably running quite a bit of removal. I'd imagine quite a bit of ramp as well, since green's their colour. And yeah, we'll see our Llanowar Elves coming down. So, do we just risk the Baral here? I think since we do, since we're going to have to wait till turn 4 to get it down with a counter spell up. If our opponent removes the Baral, then it would just be unfortunate. So be it. Okay, well it helps us get him out a little bit quicker. Could just play him again next turn if we wanted to. Do we just play him again? I mean, if our opponent has another removal spell, then we still have counter spells for days. And again, it would be another turn before we could counter. Okay, so sweet. So let's just play Castle Vantress, so we have something to do with our mana. I guess we'll just pass the turn. I don't know what sort of flash threats our opponent could have. But yeah, we're in a position that we want to be in. Got some good things going on. Maybe some card draw we could do with Finding. But we're just going to cycle through our list pretty much. So maybe we just want to kick an Into the Royal. Bounce this Llanowar Elves back since our opponent's missing land drops. And Rewind actually nets us mana. Sweet, so we get to counter this. And do some cycling, probably just discard land. Yep. Get to draw an extra card. Nice. Gonna stop their Planeswalker. And let's start the 22 turn clock with Baral. Probably be a bit shorter because we have Brazen Borrower, but you know. Brazen Borrower is actually really good as well if our opponent decides to tap down here. I guess we just flash this out. Just to put some pressure into play. I don't really want to Castle Bantras since we go shields down if we do that. Ooh, Sublime Epiphany is good. Let's not attack with Baral. It's not worth the risk of our opponent flashing out. I know there's the free drop zombie that has flash. There's a few things that have flash. So I guess we just censor this. Use up the censor while we can. And yeah, we just have an abundance of counter spells at the moment. Probably discard the River's Rebuke, though it would be sweet. If our opponent wasn't stuck on mana, maybe we'd keep it. But hopefully our opponent just taps down. They're not going to. Yeah, you can have that. Again, I don't think we can afford to tap down. Never tapping down. Gonna wait for our opponent to. So is this the time we cast Sublime Epiphany? Get to counter this, create a copy, bounce Llanowar Elves back. We could rewind. It nets us a mana, but it doesn't do too much. So 4, 5. I think we want to stop this, don't we? If our opponent, I guess Brawl isn't that important at the moment. Just putting extra pressure into play is fine. So target non-land permanent, we'll bounce Llanowar Elves back. Target creature we control, we'll get an extra copy of Baral, please. And then we'll draw a card. And if we cycle and hit a land here, yeah, that's great. I guess that's the Sublime Epiphany. We'll still draw. We'll discard Spectral Sailor. It is a form of card advantage, but we're just going to try and close the game here. I guess we already made our land drop. We can still no escape the Garruk if they find a land. But our Baral is susceptible to a removal spell at the moment. Oh. Oh. This is why we don't tap down. 4, 5, 6. So we don't have the mana to play Baral and hold up a counter spell at the moment. I guess we do now. So we'll see. But yeah, we definitely shouldn't have tapped down last turn. But I think it was worth trying to keep our pressure in play. We could have like rewind, I guess, to just play it safe. So guess we just no escape this. And I guess Chemist's Insight's really good. Just a little bit of card draw. I guess we draw it and put it into the graveyard as just some like added value. Yeah, just need to find some pressure, I guess, now. Since our opponent can just cast their Garruk over and over again. So we will rewind that and net a mana. Yes. we will discard that. And then, yeah, we'll essentially Chemist's Insight for 2 here. So Mystic Sanctuary can put something back on top. Maybe Sublime Epiphany, probably. And then once we counter something, we can always get the Sublime Epiphany back. So we can draw into it. So probably, yeah, just hold this land in hand, I guess. Opponent's going to be able to gain a little bit of life back. But yeah, we have quite a few counter spells. So this is, we may shuffle cards into our library. I guess we can return it with Sublime Epiphany next turn. Our opponent would get a card draw. Is there anything we want to shuffle back in? Like River's Rebuke maybe, but not really. This shuffle is a May effect, and you may shuffle up to 4 cards. I hope this works in the way I think it is. Submit 0. Please don't manually shuffle. Ooh. So it doesn't matter if it manually shuffled now, since we'd get to draw anyway. Draw the Sublime Epiphany, discard the land. And I guess we just don't want to draw here. And then we'll just scry with Castle Vantress. Try and set up something else. Mox Amber we don't need, but yeah, we'll take a Vision. Just 2 mana to dig for something. Ooh. What do we want? Just didn't say please, I guess. And we get to smack for 1. So this is exactly what we want to be doing though. Mono blue. Our opponent's not been able to get anything under our counter spells. We made that unfortunate turn of tapping down with the Brazen Borrower, but apart from that I think we've done okay. Yeah, I guess we'll allow that. Opponent has 2 cards left in hand. So if we do this, we can still activate Castle Vantress. And we'll decline. Ooh, Pelucranos is a good one. Neutralize, yeah. I mean, we need to dig for a threat at some point. We do have a few of them. Did we get rid of our Shark Typhoon? We've still got Shark Typhoon. I guess that River's Rebuke could have been really good now. But yeah, I guess our main win condition is just keep countering our opponent's spells. Just neutralize this. And yeah, decline again. But we're in a position now, yeah, we're okay. We're gonna tap down. Our opponent only has 1 card left in hand. If it's a removal spell, then fair enough. But yeah, we're just gonna keep getting these counter spells. Gonna hold the Sublime Epiphany till we find a creature that we'd like to copy. This is 6. So they need 1 more card in the graveyard. We can allow that to resolve. And that will certainly not resolve. Put land. So, yep, our opponent just has a Pluchronose, which we'll have to counter one more time. Okay, I guess Cutthroat is like what we want. Cutthroat is something that will grow as time goes on. As long as we can keep stopping what our opponent's going to do, then we'll be alright. We can even create a copy with the Sublime Epiphany. So we will Cutthroat first. And then Sublime Epiphany. Counter, return, create a cut token, and draw. So we will bounce the Llanowar Elves back. Yeah. Copy, Cutthroat, and we'll draw. Unfortunately, the counter goes on the Cutthroat before Sublime Epiphany resolves. And yeah, we get the draw before it resolves as well. Oh no, we don't. We get the draw of Sublime Epiphany, then the Baral goes off. Yeah, I guess we'll draw. Could have drawn a better counter spell than Essence Scatter. And yeah, we're going to stop this. Could tutor for all sorts of madness. Opponent's going to scoop it up. So that's how we're winning. Just counter all day long. And I guess win with a Cutthroat. So, on the play against Kenrith the Returned King. It's been a while since I've seen this. Back to the days of Fires of Invention. What do you think of this hand? Probably okay. Man is okay. Probably going to play the Disruption, I guess. Do you play Disruption out turn 1? Yeah, let's make sure we can definitely play our third land drop with Baral. I think this is a... our opponent can have a Lightning Strike, but I think we're going to play out Baral and hope. Since we don't have a 1 mana like Negate to back it up. Sweet, so let's just start getting in there. And then, yeah, we're just going to either play Brazen Borrow in the end step or start countering. Drawing, trying to hit our land drops. Our opponent knows what's in store here, though. We could Thassa's Intervention for 2. And draw 2 here. I think I prefer that. Our opponent might be able to kill Baral with like a Lightning Strike. But, yeah, we need to hit our land drop. Spell Pierce. Okay, nice. Opponent, that's not fair. We're supposed to be the counter deck. But let's go. So I guess the plan is just flash in the Brazen Borrow. No, opponent's just going to scoop it up. As most opponents do, don't like Baral. So, we are on the play against Yarok the Desecrated. And what do we think of this hand? I think this hand's okay. Yeah, we're going to keep this. Going to play out the Vision, so we definitely have 3 lands. Interesting whether we go for it with the turn 2 Baral. I'm always a little bit worried. That's why I play the Mox Amber. So many 2-mana counterspells that we can play Baral on turn 2 with Mox Amber. And stop what our opponent's got. I fear our opponent's going to be... like, have a really good late game with Yarok. You can imagine they're playing Field of the Dead. Yeah, all these, like, scry lands. Double up ETBs. Yep. Yarok is sweet, though. Something I'd definitely like to play. Unfortunately, I joined the Commander Party, or the Brawl Party, a little bit late, so maybe we won't be have time to play with Yarok. Do we wait a turn? No. If our opponent has a removal spell, you got one. We're looking Fatal Push. I mean, there's a ton of things our opponent could have. They don't have anything, though. So, shields up. Let's see. If our opponent goes for a, like... I guess if they tap down to do something, we can just... yeah, if they tap down to do things like Mind Stone and that, we can just bounce the Incubation Druid back to their hand. Which one's more valuable? Or do we want a Hieroglyphic Illumination? I think we don't. I think we want to leave in the dust. This taps for any colour. This taps for 1 colour of mana you produce. Our opponent has all colours though, so I guess Incubation Druid since it has an activated ability. So I guess we can even get in there for 1. Start the Baral beatdown. We'll see. We haven't really got any hard counter spells, which is a problem with this hand. Opponent has enough mana to pay for this. Probably going to cycle some of these sensors, play the Disruption out as a land. Since with our opponent on the mana ramp, it's not going to do too good for us. Maybe a River's Rebuke could be really good though, if our opponent's playing like mana rocks and creatures. There's some better counter spells. There's a really good counter spell. So maybe our opponent just goes for their commander this turn. Though you've got to hope that they know we don't have counter. They know we have counter magic available since that's all our commander does. What threats are we worried about? Like Fort Disruption? Fort Distortion even? Because we can't counter it. I'm really just worried about uncounterable threats since we're in a position now where it's going to be difficult for our opponent to resolve something. They're going to need to do like multiple relevant things each turn. Okay, so opponent has 3 mana available to them. Something like cancel. I guess that Wizard's Retort is just a worse version of cancel. I guess they're like exactly the same. Could syncopate this, but rather leave up another counter spell in case our opponent's trying to do 2 things at once. And yeah, we get to make use of some of these. Yeah, Tail's End's great. Get to discard some of our more useless counter spells. Could have Disdainful Stroked as well. Guess we'll just Disdainful Stroke this. Midnight Clock is great. Discard land. Feels a little bit greedy. Yeah, we'll discard land though. And sweet, do another one. So yeah, Midnight Clock, investing in our future. Gonna just try and counter a few more spells here. Got Wizard's Retort up, Syncopate, Tail's End. A few things we can do. Tail's End, great. You can counter everyone's commander. Opponent's just going to adapt. Yeah, let's just Tail's End that. Keep our more flexible counter spells in hand. Syncopate's probably going past its exploration date now. And we'll start to beef this up a little bit. Oh, Search for Scanter sweet as well. That'll be some pretty good card advantage. It is switched on as well next turn. Opponent's gonna keep pushing. Gonna keep trying to push this through. we have almost infinite counter spells. Their commander now costs 11 mana. Discard Fass's intervention. Negate's just pretty good here at protecting what we're trying to do. You know the opponents are running big, flashy planeswalkers and spells that Negate will be able to stop. Or just things like that. Definitely gonna stop that. I don't think we're gonna draw here, since we'd like Sublime Epiphany. And here come the zombies. Let's graveyard that. Transform. So this will be good. So what is this? 5 mana? So we'd have 1, 2, 3 mana left up. And we get to draw 2 cards. And we have no maximum hand size. That doesn't feel great. Equally, we can activate Search Azcanta. I guess we just pass the turn. Hand's not great, though. We could have played this out as a land. That might have been better, actually. We should have played this out as a land, so we could have activated Search Azcanta and done Sublime Epiphany in the same turn. Counter, bounce, bounce, bounce. Bounce the Incubation Druid. We can target Baral, but it's a legendary, so that won't work. Opponent's gonna float some mana. I mean, if our opponent doesn't have an answer to this Midnight Clock, I feel okay. Choose the legendary permanent you wish to keep. We shall keep our actual commander. And discard land. I guess if our job is to just play a land, then we'd rather just keep the land rather than keeping Seagate Restoration, because I think we're going to just play a land out. Opponent's got the Vivien. Gonna allow this to resolve because we can't stop it. Yeah, and they're gonna go for that. Draw and fire. Unfortunately, yeah, had we have played the land last turn, it'd have been so much different because we could have attacked this Vivien down. With a Shark Typhoon, we could have finished it off. So I guess we're just cycling to make a big shark here. And killing Vivien. How much mana does our opponent have? 2, 4, 6, 8, 9, 10, 11. So they can cast their commander to tap down. Do we just allow it? If our opponent wants to cast their commander, I think we allow it to cast a big Shark Typhoon. Since we can hopefully find River's Rebuke, we will dig enough with Azcanta. Since I really don't want to let Vivien keep ticking up. Or I guess we could Azcanta and then play Spectral Sailor. And that'll keep Vivien off for a little bit, and we can draw with Spectral Sailor in the meantime. One of the difficulties of playing Baral Chief of Compliance I've found in the short time I've played it is a lot of people scoop within the first few turns. Once you play your Baral, quite a few people want nothing to do with it. And yeah, Agent of Treachery is something we're going to have to stop. Our opponent goes for it. We'll have to dig, and yeah, we have to hope for a counterspell here. Counter target spell, nope. So Shark Typhoon for 0. Hope the top card is a counterspell. Nope. So we're losing our Baral now. That's unfortunate. So I guess our out is River's Rebuke. Because then we can bounce the Baral back to our hand. They'll get their Agent of Treachery back. And what do you know? So I don't think we want to do it now. I think we just want to activate Search as Counter this turn, because we want a counterspell to be able to stop the Agent of Treachery when it comes back down.
Okay, so you've got claws.
So we'll dig for a counterspell first.
I've seen things that would break.
And then we'll bounce everything back to our opponent's hand next turn and play our Baral back out. And hopefully with a counterspell. And Spectral Sailor is a pretty good card draw engine. So yeah, if our opponent goes for their commander here, we'll obviously just allow that. Going to take quite the beating though. We're taking 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Yeah, falling to 5. I mean, that's not pretty. And then I guess we draw. So let's land and River's Rebuke. And yeah, let's bounce all of our opponent's permanents back. We'll put Baral back into our hand. And I guess we can't hold up Cover Up. 2, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I guess we just pass turn here. Hold up, Cover Up, or Search as Canto. If our opponent just goes Vivian, we'll probably just allow the Vivian and bounce it into the Royal in the end step. Because this is our only counter spell at the moment. I assume our opponent just spends a turn playing all their stuff out again. Not the best River's Rebuke in the world, because we really wanted to cast this as like a win condition. When it enters the battlefield, choose 1. Return target creature card from your graveyard to your hand. Target opponent reveals the hand. You choose a non-creature card and we discard it. They can't cast Agent of Treachery this turn. Yeah, we'll put some cards back. Put some of our win conditions back. We'll put Midnight Clock, Shark Typhoon, Rebuke, and Sublime Epiphany, I guess. Yep. All of them are really good cards to put back in. And we'll give it a good shuffle. Yeah, I don't know if we play Baral back out just yet, because I really don't want it to get stolen with Agent of Treachery again. I guess we could actually just into the Royal Lip. Like, bounce our Baral back. I'm just going to shoot Spectral Sailor. So, Signet into Baral. Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then we can activate as Canter or into the Royal. So if our opponent goes for the big flashy play of Agent of Treachery, then we'll dig, I guess, and if we don't hit something, then we'll have to bounce the Baral back to our hand, and then replay it again. Our deck isn't like essential to have Baral in play, but we really do like to have it. Guess we'll let Gonti go. Gonti's a good one. This deck is sweet that our opponent's playing though. Yarok. Getting double Gonti triggers. See if our opponent got a good one. I assume it's a counter spell of sword. Could always bounce the thing. If our opponent's a permanent card, can bounce it back. Opponent's just taking a second to decide what they'd like to do. It's a Shark Typhoon. Yeah, I'd quite like a Shark Typhoon. Thank you for giving it to us. Can we do some plays here? Can bounce for 1 mana the Shark Typhoon and then 2, 1, 2, 3, 4 play it, kill Vivian. One, 2, 1, 2. Yeah, we can't kick into the Royal here. Unfortunately, but we can cycle this Shark Typhoon for 4. And then we get to start. I'd love to play the Shark Typhoon now, but let's just answer this Vivian. Neutralize is amazing as well. And yeah, we'll just kill Vivian.
Let's do this again.
Activate Azcanta now? Probably not. Let's just pass the turn. We've got to keep safe and a neutralize and Azcanta up. So if we can survive a few turns now, we get to block the zombie token and take 3. We'll see. Our opponent doesn't know about the neutralize. But yeah, we have the potential to just go round and round. We put the midnight clock back in. And then the midnight clock can shuffle the Two.Vs cover up. So if we don't die, we can just keep going and going. Yeah, we'll stop that. Maybe you should activate Azcanta first. Yeah, sweet. We'll keep Sublime Epiphany. Can create a copy of our Shark. Yeah, so stop the token. And then our opponent's got 1 unknown card. They'll have 2 and they get a scry. So maybe Sublime Epiphany can counter this, create a token of Shark. Disallow, sweet. Sinister Sabotage is good. Probably disallow. We also get to scry as well. Cutthroat like trades with Gonti maybe. Cutthroat's actually I think we want Cutthroat. Cutthroat's like a way we're going to close the game, isn't it? And I guess with Azcanta, we just need ways of closing the game now. So we'll just sit back. Since I guess our opponent does have lethal, we can play the Cutthroat, though, to just block something. If needs be. Opponent's Commander costs 13 mana now. But I guess our opponent's playing a deck where they just want to do their thing. And they've done their thing quite a bit. We've got to do our thing. I guess this is what Brawl is all about. So let's flash this in. Are we just Sublime Epiphanying now? Copy the Cutthroat. Because I don't really want to lose our Cutthroat. I guess we could just lose our Shark. I guess we need to make a copy, don't we? It's quite unfortunate. So we'll bounce one of their tokens, create a copy of Cutthroat. Is that... Yeah, Shark blocks here, Cutthroat has to block here. I guess we have to create a copy of the Shark, unfortunately. Target non-land permanent here, because it's the only thing that can block successfully. So pass the blocks, because we can block. I think I just did that wrong, didn't I? Yeah, we could have made an extra Cutthroat, because Baral could have blocked the Llanowar Elves. Oh, misplays. It's very early hours of the morning where I am. Getting in these games just before Brawl runs out. I think Brawl's got like 10 hours left on it, something like that. Yeah, it's currently very early. Yeah, we'll stop Agents of Treachery. Not going to allow our opponent to have that. Just more counter spells, that's all we want. Maybe we will test a player's breaking point. How many times do you have to counter someone's spell before they concede? We'll allow all these. Okay, so we are attacking with the Shark. And just passing turn. And we are going to slowly close the game here. We get to bounce a token, play the Brazen Borrower. We could bounce the Incubation Druid if we want to. But Cutthroat will be able to block the Incubation Druid. Counterspell for our opponent's Yarok. We can dig with Azcanta for something else. I honestly don't know what we have left. Okay, so opponent's gonna pump. So let's 1 mana bounce this. That makes the Cutthroat able to block. And we can play the Brazen Borrower back out if you want to. All creatures get -1/-1, and then they get them again. So it would kill. We could stop this. I guess no. Let's dig. Nothing. Let's stop this. And we get to yeah, Midnight Clock's great. Just gonna get to do everything again. We will decline since we don't want to put that Midnight Clock in our graveyard. So shields down. Our opponent's got an opportunity to resolve something, but they have nothing left. We've taken it all from them. Okay, so Midnight Clock is up. And yeah, let's attack. Attack. We've got some blocks on the way back. And opponent, go. 1 draw. I think that's 1 draw, maybe. And we've got an Azcanta. Oh. Hats off to our opponent, though, for playing through the infinite amount of counter spells that we cast. I mean, if anyone wants to take the time to count these up, but we cast so many, and we even shuffled a load back in and carried on going again. But this is what we aim to do. When you build Baral Chief of Compliance as a commander, you just want to cast a load of counter spells for really cheap, and then draw into more counter spells, and play a Midnight Clock and do it all again. Okay, so on the draw against Torbran, Thane of Redfell, and I don't know how I feel about this matchup. I feel like on the draw it's bad enough against mono red, but Baral was definitely not long for this world. I'm not sure how we handle this. I mean, our Baral's like not going to stick around. We're going to cycle this Hieroglyphic Illumination. If we can get into a position where Baral sticks, then we're okay. But Lightning Strike is a thing, and I'm sure our opponent has tons of burn spells. Okay, they skipped through pretty quickly there. I think we're going to have to wait one turn so we can hold up the negate on the same turn. We can also Brazen Borrow something relevant that our opponent does. Like that. I think we Brazen Borrow it. And take the 2 just because we want to be able to hold up the negate next turn. So let's bounce that back. And then now is our time to stick Baral. And yeah, if it sticks, I think we're okay. Since we're on 21 and we can block this Grim Initiate. Though we're not going to block this. Puts Baral in the way of shock range. Oh, can't stop that. It deals double damage, yeah. It deals that much damage plus 2. Okay, so we're not going to block. Oof. So I guess we take our beating and then River's Rebuke back next turn. Or Sublime Epiphany. Gonna have to... We can counter what our opponent does this turn though. And it's probably Sublime Epiphany to put Torbran back in hand. So yeah, let's 1 mana negate that. See if Mono Blue can beat out Mono Red though. Gonna take this. Play Midnight Clock. So we're taking 4, 5, 6, 7 next turn. If our opponent does something pre-combat, then we can Sublime Epiphany it. I want a River's Rebuke, but our opponent will be able to resolve something still. If we get down Midnight Clock, next turn we'll have 3, 4, 5, 6 mana available to us. I think we're just going for the Sublime Epiphany, aren't we? And hope that our opponent does something pre-combat. Being the hasty list, I assume they might. No, they're not going to. I think we have to bounce back Torbran here. We're taking 2, 4, 5, 6, 7. I think 7 is just too much. Wait, did we target all of their modes? Yeah, maybe we should have Sublime Epiphanied. Maybe we should have River's Rebuked. And we'll just take 1 instead. I don't want to put our Baral in shock range. But Murmuring Mystic is going to be a good blocker as well. Okay, so we don't get the copy of a creature. Fortunately, that wasn't going out of Baral, though. Opponent might have another one, but they're not going to be able to play Torbran again this turn, which is quite essential. Do we put our Baral in shock range? Our opponent hasn't had a shock so far. Sweet. So... play Midnight Clock. Play Arcane Signet. Guess we'll play Midnight Clock. It's just slightly more expensive to get out there. And hopefully we can set up a position where we can Murmuring Mystic. Now our opponent needs to do multiple things each turn to be able to fight through So yeah, we'll untap up to 4 lands. And draw. Guess we're discarding Signet. Maybe we're discarding Rivers... No, we'll keep Rivers Rebuke. It feels a bit silly to discard Rivers Rebuke. I want to put the counter on it, but if our opponent has an instant speed, deal 3, we feel real bad. And then hopefully Murmuring Mystic can start to take over now. Just gives us a payoff for casting all these instants of sorceries, because Baral sort of just spins the wheel. He needs something. I think that's fine. Our Rivers Rebuke can get that back. So again, Rivers Rebuke can answer this. Next turn we can 5, 6. So 5 would have 2 mana left over, so we can counter 1 thing. Yeah, we'll draw. Yeah, we'll discard this. We're going to draw soon off the Midnight Clock. So, do we wait? Start getting in there. Guess we could have, like, bounced the Legion War Boss back, maybe. We just need to buy time for this Midnight Clock. And our opponent's only got 5 lands, so Censor's still good. Yeah, this deals 1 to us. Torbran deals... is only to an opponent. Stop their commander. And yeah, Fast's Intervention is a slightly better counterspell than Censor. And I think we're just going to Castle Vantress here rather than putting an extra counter on Midnight Clock or digging with Fast's Intervention, since we just need to find a counterspell. A hard one off the top would be really good. Okay, nothing. But, ooh, that's nice. So we can put Sublime Epiphany back on top. And then Fastest Intervention could counter something, and Sublime Epiphany will be able to draw off the Baral to put the Sublime Epiphany back in our hand, and cast that if we need to. Gonna slowly ping us with this Spear Spewer, but with these birds we might get to a point where this actually is more deadly to our opponent. Can't stop that. Oh, Chandra Awakened Inferno is a pretty potent threat against us.
Ever see a volcano erupt in prison? You're about to. Hope it's not too hot for you.
So I guess we're just gonna dig with Fastest Intervention here, grab Sublime Epiphany. And something else, I guess. So we can do it for 2 and then 6, so 7. Just casually dig through time. Seagate Restoration isn't that great. None of these things can stop Chandra. So we've got 5, 6, 7, 8. So we cannot Rivers Rebuke and Sublime Epiphany, so we need Sublime Epiphany and another counterspell. But yeah, taking damage off the Chandra each turn. Oof. Cutthroat's okay. I guess we just bounce our opponent's board back now. They play the Chandra back out. But yeah, we'll just try and close the game. It's going to be close. We'll get to create a copy of Murmuring Mystic if that's what we want to do. Opponent pings us first, I guess. And yeah, let's go. So it's interesting if our opponent just plays Chandra back out here. Could minus and wipe our board. Which I guess that would be a really good play. -3. Yeah. Oof. Gonna have to allow that, I think. We get to finish off the Chandra now, though, which is all good, I guess. We're taking a point every turn, though, which is not... It's not nothing. So let's finish that Chandra off. Brawl, we can still hold up Sinister Sabotage and Council. And yeah, so we're falling to 6, so double burn spell finishes off here, but we do have 2 counter spells. And we get to draw a fresh 7 in a minute. So I think this is close. I don't know if we've got it. I think we're going to be just short, maybe. Let's stop that. And we're going to be shuffling our hand back in, so let's just draw anyway, in case we find something like that. We'll just discard Sublime Epiphany. Just want to make as many birds as we can, build this Cutthroat up. We're currently attacking for, doesn't matter, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Guess we'll draw. Doesn't matter what we discard. Discard land. So we need like just a load of counter spells off the top. And that's not as many as we hoped for. I don't know if that's going to be enough. Our opponent is dead next turn though. Oh, opponent's going to scoop it up. They don't have 6 points of burn in hand. I assume since they're playing against the mono-blue counter deck, they didn't even want to take their chances. But yeah, we didn't have a single non-creature counter spell apart from Disdainful Stroke. So opponent like could have burnt us out potentially. So on the draw this time against Radha, Heart of Keld. And yeah, I like this hand. We get to turn 2 Brineborn Cutthroat and then turn 3 Baral holding up the gate. So we'll keep this. Murmuring Mystic, another way that we can create a board. So I guess our opponent's like a Gruul aggro list. With a little bit of ramp. Shark Typhoon's a nice pickup. Don't need it just this second. But I hope our opponent just taps down here. For something not particularly scary. Scavenging Ooze, so they could have a shock still for our Cutthroat, but we're going to go for it. If our opponent has a shock, they have a shock. That went through pretty quick, so I assume they don't. So shields down a little bit on creature spells. Yes, our opponent's going to get to resolve that. We could have, if our opponent didn't have another land, we could have syncopated for 1, since it costs 1 less with Baral. Can't stop that as well. This is when River's Rebuke might be quite nice. Midnight Clock. So this is 6 mana to activate. Opponent has 4, 5, and then so land for turn would be 6. I guess we play the Midnight Clock. Just allows us to develop our mana a little bit more, get to a place where we can cast, just doesn't have Trample, Murmuring Mystic, and then hopefully we can get some blockers out. And Midnight Clock's investing in our future. So probably take the first hit of this Radha. I think we just let that go. It means our opponent can activate Radha, but I don't know. An extra counter. So guess we're just passing here. We could play Murmuring Mystic out actually. Yeah, I think I like Murmuring Mystic as a way to block what our opponent's up to. We'll have to take one more hit for Radha, unfortunately. But after that we should be fine. I guess our opponent could have activated last turn as well, the Mind Stone. Yeah, we'll take this. Our opponent's going to start to get 5/5 dragons as well, so we're going to have to answer the Outcast. Since they are only but a land off. We want like River's Rebuke, I guess, would reset this board quite nicely. So we can syncopate for 2, but our opponent can pay that, so gotta let this go. I think we're just going to Shark Typhoon for none, just to draw a card. Feels kind of bad, doesn't it? We can Shark Typhoon next turn, I guess, and force Radha to pump. So we haven't done too much so far. But fortunately our opponent's missing the 1 land required for Outcast. And there we go. I guess we could cast the Shark Typhoon as well. How much would we have to syncopate for? Quite a lot. They have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we'd have to do it for 6. Which would be all of our mana. We'd still get to hold up Negate. Yeah, I guess we are. I think we're digging for River's Rebuke. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 they can pay. So yeah, do it for 6. And we still get to hold up Negate. Cover up. I guess we'll ditch the land. Kraken's quite good as well. Can start creating chump blockers, but our opponent, like I said, is going to start getting dragons. Could just cast the Shark Typhoon as well. If our opponent doesn't have an answer to Shark Typhoon, it's going to take over like really quickly. Like I said, our opponent has dragons, but hopefully we can like stall the board long enough. We still get to hold up Negate. Let's go for it. So hopefully they don't have a Thrashing Brontodon. And I guess if our opponent's whole turn is to pump Radha, that's fine. This is going to be the biggest pain. Ooh, so digs for a land. It also has reach. Yeah, we really need a River's Rebuke or some way to bounce. we're going to struggle to stop all of these. Yeah, Kraken works really well with Baral. Every time we counter, we get to draw. Opponent's just going to eat some things out of our graveyard. Tails End. I think we just get down Kraken. Want to set up for when this midnight clock goes off. The Kraken provides a stream of chump blockers for the Radha. But yeah, this is not looking good. I think we just had some of our like inconsistent counter spells early. Bail off, that's definitely something we've got to stop. Submit 0, obviously, there's none in our graveyard. Yeah, I think we'll draw, but I don't think we're going to... We'll discard Countervailing Winds, but we're not going to pay. Yeah, I think we should decline to pay this turn. So we can hold up our counter magic. So we'll trade here. And I guess block here. This doesn't have trample. Yeah, we are definitely on the jump block plan for this Hydra. I mean, we could target this. I don't think we need to. It would just give us a 2/2 shark and a 1/1 flyer. Yeah, we shall pay. So we're going to have to take a little bit of damage. But next time midnight clock goes off, we could force the midnight clock to go off in our turn as well. In their turn, so we can pay the Kraken. Maybe it was worth Tails ending that. Ooh. So we cannot counter Chandra. But I wonder if it's worth casting the spell anyway to pump the Cutthroat if our opponent wants to -3, which I doubt they do, and get to draw Baral. I think it's worth still doing this. Yeah, we're going to target. Obviously, it won't counter. Just to get these out of range, make a shark. And go again. Just because the midnight clock's going to go off as well, so no point holding these in hands. Where may as well have a board presence. Gonna start to emblem us. Yeah, Chandra's really good against us. Gilded Goose. I think it's kind of River's Rebuke or bust. So we will do this now. Then we get to draw a ton of cards, and Kraken gets really big. We get to put 2 counters on Kraken. And Chandra's going to start to clock us. So, I guess decline. Really need to find this River's Rebuke. No River's Rebuke. I guess we just continue to make 1/1s. And yeah, let's pass the turn. So we're building up a board. If we find our River's Rebuke, I feel like we're just going to win the game. Just discard land. But our opponent's Chandra emblems are going to start to stack quite quickly. We're getting to a point as well where I think our opponent can't attack in. Radha's ability is just her, yeah. Our opponent could give up a section of their board to wipe a lot of our board. So yeah, I think we definitely counter this. Just to create more things and dig a bit deeper with Baral. Discard. I guess Censor is an extra draw. We shall decline. Chemist, they're going to take the Chemist Insight. Maybe we can just make enough sharks that we can just attack round their blockers. Yeah, let's just cycle here. Neutralize, not what we need. Nope. I guess we decline. So, failing we don't find a River's Rebuke. We could Sublime Epiphany copying Kraken. I feel like we've got to take out the Chandra if at all possible. Our opponent can block 4 of our creatures in the air. 1, 2, 3, 4. Would hit Chandra for 4. It's just not enough, isn't it? Yeah, I guess we got to pass another turn. If our opponent goes for the Chandra minus, I guess we can Sublime Epiphany it to stop it. But we gotta take out the Chandra. Cultivate. Just create a few more sharks. Get another bird. Want to make sure we hold enough lands. So, do we counter this and bounce back? Or we let this one go?
Hope it's not too hot for you.
I feel like it's better to create another copy of Murmuring Mystic here. We got to, so target non-land permanent to bounce back. Are we bouncing Chandra? We can still bounce Chandra with Into the Royal. Maybe we bounce one of their blockers. Could bounce the Dragon Outcast, and then our opponent can't make any more dragons, as long as we draw a counterspell for it. Equally, could bounce a blocker. Let's bounce a blocker instead. Target creature we control. We'll target Murmuring Mystic, and we'll draw an extra card. And yeah, we're going to try and create like a load of birds here and go round. Disallow can obviously can also stop a Chandra minus. They try and wipe the board. Opponent's going to keep exiling our graveyard. But yeah, we're digging closer and closer to River's Rebuke. Taking a lot of damage now. Rewind, not that useful. Guess we'll make a Kraken. Let's bounce one of these. Get to draw one more card. I think we'll decline, since our plan's probably to activate Castle. So we have a lot of attackers. If we attack everything, our opponent has what, 2, 4, 5, 6. Let's wait one turn. I'm not ready to work out the combat map just yet, but we'll hopefully disallow our opponent's Chandra here, or Field of the Dead. Yeah, if they go for the minus, we'll disallow it. If not, I guess we'll just activate Castle. No, you're gonna keep putting emblems on us.
No pressure.
So let's keep digging. I guess that can dig us a bit deeper. Mystic Sanctuary is useless since our opponent has the Scavenging Ooze. I think we're going to have to go for the attack next turn. Let our opponent work out if the map is correct or not. So top 6. No River's Rebuke. I guess Fass's Intervention digs us even deeper. So let's pass the turn. And we're going to take 5 damage from our opponent in the upkeep. I think our opponent's not been making food with this Gilded Goose each turn. Gain themselves a ton of life. This has been grindy though. We're definitely in a position where we must attack next turn though. Opponent puts probably the final emblem they're going to put on us.
Ready.
So we can fast this intervention for 7. Gotta hope that 7 is enough. I guess we can do it for 8 because We do for 8, 7, 8. Oh, we've got 8 mana available to us, so we can do it for 7, yeah. With the discount from Baral. And we get to make a 7/7 shark as well. But yeah, I think if we just find a River's Rebuke, we've done it. Hopefully. I mean, we're gonna find out either way this turn. Wow, no River's Rebuke. Brazen Borrower is something that can bounce though. Hieroglyphic Illuminations, I guess, is our card draw. I guess we're just going for the card draw, since I think without it, I guess we can take that and Brazen Borrower. But 5 damage here. We're not gonna scry here. So 11 mana, this is 5. I guess we decline. And then this is still enough to cast River's Rebuke. And this is the best shot we're gonna get. Just gonna draw hopefully the rest of our deck. Oh, and there we go, River's Rebuke. Sweet. So if this River's Rebuke goes off, we will decline all. Then, yeah, I think we've got it. So there you go, mono blue, the potential of pulling it back from the brim. Let's see. And opponent can put all their non-land permanents back in their hand. And mono blue coming in for the win. Sweet, just had to stall the game and find River's Rebuke. Howdy guys, cheers for making it to the end of the video. I hope you guys enjoyed watching some Baral Chief of Compliance, and oh my god, it was so insane. Just River's Rebuking our opponent's entire board back to their hand. Oh, that felt good, didn't it? Like, you gotta hope, like, our opponent was trying to sit back and win with Chandra, but they did not know River's Rebuke is a thing, or did not know we were running it. But we had the River's Rebuke. It may have been in the last, like, 10 cards of our list, but we found it in the end. But Baral Chief of Compliance, I tell you what, if you watched most of the games, you'd have heard me say this already, but one of the hardest things with Baral Chief of Compliance is finding an opponent that actually wants to play against Baral, because most people scoop. I played so many games with Baral, and most of them our opponents scooped on turn 2 or 3. I kept in a few of the games, I think against like Kenrith and a few other ones, that our opponents scooped early, but most of the time they concede, and the opponents that do stay in, I don't know how happy they are. I think we played against Yarok, the Desecrated, for one of the games, and every time they cast Yarok, it got countered, and when it cost like 14 mana, 13 mana by the end of it, going up to 16 on the next turn. Just, oh my god, even with all of the ramp, it's just too much. But yeah, loved Baral Chief of Compliance. Definitely, if you were going for a competitive option, say Historic Brawl becomes a thing on Arena as a permanent edition, Baral was a solid list. You probably could refine the list a lot more than what we have here, because this is like a very quickly put together list. And like I said, I was recording it so early, so didn't really have time to make many changes to the list. But I loved it. Just, you probably want more counter spells. That's all I'm thinking. More counters, more bounces, and maybe cut on some of the threats, since you don't need threats. So you can 25 turn clock your opponent with Baral Chief of Compliance. That's fine. But anyway, thank you very much, guys, for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Let me know what you thought in the comments down below. Did you like it? Did you not like it? And like, dislike, whatever you feel like doing. And yeah, tell me where I messed up, because I messed up pretty bad on some of them games. I've definitely made some misplays with lands and what counterspell we should be using at what point. But anyway, I'm just rambling. I hope you guys had a good one. Until next time, stay safe.